Sheila, so there's been some setbacks, but overall, you said the market is optimistic,
Yes.
and you're seeing a healthy rebound. Let's talk about what's in the news lately. Of course, the economic news is not really from coming domestically; it's from abroad, right? But we still have to deal with it as a country. But some of the things that we've heard, for example, the offshore gaming operations, the POGOs. There have been some developments there, and then even talks in Congress now about maybe possibly restricting them, or maybe doing away with them altogether. If they do that, what would be the impact? Because some people from Congress are saying that they occupy something like 1 million square feet or something like that of office space. But maybe you're a better source. What's the impact if we get rid of the POGOs?
Definitely.
Or is it better to make them stay?
Well, definitely, if we totally ban them, it will negatively affect not just the real estate market, but a lot of different industries as well, because those people are consuming here in the country.
Okay.
So, negative effect right away.
So definitely there will be an impact. Would you say that there is like a negative impact also from the POGOs being here? I mean, in terms of maybe inflating prices. I know when I was looking for property in Manila, so I don't have to deal with traffic, I noticed how much more expensive properties in Manila were compared to like Las Piñas, where I'm from.
Because the demand at that time
was very high. Is that a legitimate argument that maybe the POGOs were also making property values artificially high? Is that a legitimate observation,
I'd say
or not
always,
really?
it's always based on the law of supply and demand, right? Whenever there's a lot of demand for something, price will move up, and there are limited supply. I think at that time. Today, because demand is low, a lot of supply out there, prices of properties relatively it's lower compared to pre-pandemic, and but the land values actually is not that low. I mean, you cannot still buy good property in a good location because land is finite. It will never increase, right? In terms of rental rates, yes, we've seen a decrease in rental rates already in the office and in the residential market as well. But if you will buy a property in a prime location, it's still very expensive. A prime property will always be a prime property at any given market. And most owners of these prime properties are also very wealthy, so they will not sell it at a loss, right? Unless they really needed the money. So in that respect, in terms of
so they can afford to wait it out.
Yes, they can.
And
they have
wait for better times.
Mahaba ang PC. Yes.
Right.
Tagalog, yes.
So, assuming that Congress rules negatively against the POGOs, and you said that there will be a negative impact. How severe is the impact? Would you say it is something that we can recover from in a year because things are looking optimistic anyway, as you said earlier? Is it something much deeper than that? Or is it something else?
I think it's something much deeper than that. We have to look at it.
So it's a severe impact.
Yes, we have to look at it holistically. I know we've been reading a lot of negative things. It's a very controversial topic, but I think what we should do is really look at it holistically. And there are, of course, illegal and legal POGOs. So if we can just regulate them, I think that's the best way. We need all the help that we can get today to boost the economy. The outsourcing industry, they're still growing.
That's what I wanted to ask you about.
Yes, but I don't think they can just catch the the demand that will be left behind from these POGO operators. The legal ones, if they're already here, let them stay. They're paying the right taxes. They're following rules. Why not support them? And then for
why
those,
penalize them?
Correct. Yeah. Why put a blanket and when there are people who are following? Because they are also employing locals. They're buying properties or they're using offices here. They're eating out. They're buying things in the shops, in the retails, in the mall. So we're benefiting from that. And we made an initial calculation. The NEDA published something recently. They said 80 billion at the height of POGO, back in 2019.
What's 80 billion?
80 billion peso in terms of revenue that we generate from them. That was last
That's
2019, quite big. But we made a rough calculation also, and it can easily be 150 billion peso in terms of revenue from them when you compute the office space rental, the residential rental, and the consumption here, the salaries that they're paying the Filipinos, the locals that they're hiring, the food. They also get food here, of course. There are a lot of catering companies who are supporting them. All those things, and the tax, the VAT, right? When you compute that easily. So not just the mere end tax that we are seeing, which of course the current administration said it's not growing, it's so low, and we can afford not to have them. I'd say we might as well look at that holistically, and if there's, like in the past, the BPO, the outsourcing industry, there is this PEZA economic zone wherein they should only be in those locations to fully enjoy the benefits. Maybe we can do that. I don't know. That's something we can explore, right? Like a zone for all the POGOs, and you regulate them, you implement all the rules, and if they want to operate, they can be there. They have to pay the right tax.
So as long as they're behaving or following the rules, they're okay to stay by you. You mentioned the BPOs. Of course, the other thing in the news is the depreciation of the peso, quite substantially, to a point where the central bank had to intervene. I would think that there are certain sectors that benefit, BPOs among them. Do you sense that the benefit is big enough for them to seek you out and say, hey, we're looking for more space? Have you been getting that sort of inquiry? Or are they still waiting to see what happens? What are you hearing from them?
Initial, feedback, it's good, definitely good for them, because they have a stronger dollar now. So this is good for the Northern American companies, and more than 50% of the companies here are from there. Definitely, we feel the growing outsourcing industry, and I believe they will also publish the IT BPM BPAP group, the organization handling this outsourcing companies, are also publishing this growth map again for the next 5 years. They're saying that in the next 5 years, they will even double the revenue that they are currently have. It's what, 30 billion US dollar industry now. And they're saying that by 2028 that can be double. So let's see, that's their growth projection.
Wow. So even then, I mean, the demand is not going to make up for the possible losses for POGOs?
There are a lot of office space
POGOs
and
are so
estate.
big.
Not really. They're occupying now about 1 million. You said earlier about 1 million square meters of space. But there are a lot of vacant spaces also in the market today because of this pandemic. Companies who stopped reporting for work, and some BPOs who also shrunk their operations. So there are still a lot of space.
Some of them are allowing
there.
people to work from home.
Yes. So with the current supply that's out there, plus the future office space that are being built in the market, I think it's not enough to really absorb that. So.
And I suppose development, construction is continuing, right? You certainly don't want to start those when the market recovers. You want to start those as early as possible, so when the market recovers, then it's there, right? What are you seeing on that end, the construction development part? How robust is it, or is it a little bit timid? Have they gone all out? What are you seeing?
When you look at the building permits, which we monitor, it's increasing. So that means companies are building, constructing real estate projects.
Anticipating that.
These are all ongoing projects. There are a lot of hotels being built in the country because the hospitality industry, tourism industry is forecasting that by next year they will be back at the pre-pandemic levels. So a lot of luxury hotels and businessmen hotels are being built all over the country. In terms of residential also, there is still a big demand for house and lot here in the Philippines. A lot of Filipinos, our dream is to always have our own house and lot. So that will never end. The Filipino dream to have their own house. So a lot of movement there. Housing, socialized housing, all those things. Condo market, though not that strong today, but there is still growth. I mean, companies are constructing, developers are building, especially in the CBD area, Central Business District, or developing township projects in other parts of the Philippines. So those are moving, and then the warehouse market as well, cold storage, data center, maybe we hope that will grow because there is a need for a data center also here in the country.
Now, what would be in a data center building? Is that, how much is that is different from, say, a warehouse?
A warehouse, yeah.
Cold storage?
It's very sophisticated, definitely. Not a warehouse is just like a box sometimes, and you put everything there, right? You store, it's like a storage. Data center is complicated. They need a lot of power, a lot of electricity, and of course expert to manage that. But it's also like, you know, subleasing. You have the data center and you get companies to rent that space from you. So there are operators and there are end users as well who need to have their own data center here in the country.
Right. Well, before we go on break, so is it a good time to buy property now and invest, or should we wait it out?
It's always a good time to buy.
It's a good time. All right.